call the meeting to order.
I certainly will, and with that, I want to welcome everyone to the July Franklin Grad Committee Partnership Meeting, and once again, thank all of you for taking the time out of your schedule to be with us this morning. As usual, we're going to start with introductions, your name, title, organization, and something that you're grateful for, and Melinda will guide us through the room and the screen. So Melinda, it's all yours.
All right, thank you, Joe. So the first person on my screen is Adam.
There we go. Hi, Kel. I'm Adam Kirsch. I'm a public health specialist with the Vermont Department of Health out of the St. Albans District Office, and I am grateful for shade today.
Thank you, Adam. Robert. You're muted, my friend.
Good morning. That's a little better.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Robert. I work at Samaritan House and Housing Advocate. Grateful for just another day and an opportunity to help make a difference in someone's life.
Love it.
Robert, is this your first meeting?
Yes.
Okay, well, listen, welcome from all of us.
Party hat's out, party hat.
Where's the bell?
Do you hear it?
You're gonna have to hit that puppy
You
harder.
gotta hit that puppy harder, buddy.
How's that? No? Do I have to blow a horn or what? All right, well, believe me, this bell, Robert, is ringing.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Hey.
Anybody who wants to learn more about Robert, look at the messenger. Next
Oh,
person,
Lord.
I know,
Oh,
you're gonna
Lord.
get me. Next person is Matthew.
Yes, greetings. I'm actually the part of Vermont Equity, Department of Health Equity Advisor. So, very intertwined into
Matthew, we're having a hard time hearing you. Can you talk maybe closer to your microphone? We're not hearing the words. Oh, you're muted.
Can you hear me?
That's definitely a little better, yeah.
Just a minute. Technology things. Can you still hear me now? I'm just making sure.
Yeah, it's much better.
Okay, good.
Now we can't. Lost you again.
Okay, this is okay.
Oh, that's better.
I use okay. I'll just stay here close again. I use he, him pronouns. Well, I'm grateful for my next chapter of my life. To be involved and included with the Vermont Department of Health Vermont Equity Advisory or Ambassador of the state of Vermont statewide. I look forward to, in a nutshell, intertwining, Vermont's, health equity disparity across the state. But for me, it's, having that involvement, being involved in that, is making sure everybody's access needs are met across the state. Thank you very much. I look forward to working with you.
Thank you, Matthew. David.
Hi, good morning, everybody. David Justice with Vermont Adult Learning, and we'll be presenting later today. Thanks for having me. I'm lately most grateful for my 4.5-year-old daughter, because no matter what kind of day I'm having, she brings some kind of comic relief. Her latest thing is singing and kind of butchering, but slightly adorably, song lyrics. Her favorite song right now is Tom Petty's Free Falling, but she says, and I'm free for it. It's so close, but that's just the whole person she is. She's up for anything wrong with the program. She's free for it, so that's what I'm grateful for today.
She also brings a lot of joy to others of us at Val who are in meetings with David frequently.
She gate crashed this one, so heads up.
Fingers crossed.
Awesome, thank you, David. Next person, Jeff.
Yeah, hello, I'm Jeff Nerney. I'm the Energy Works Project Coordinator at Vermont Adult Learning. And I am grateful I'm feeling healthy this morning. I ran a firecracker 4-miler yesterday and I feel pretty good. Beat my time from last year as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeff.
I think this is Jeff's first time here too,
Oh,
Joe, if you want
party
to
hats
try to
out.
get the bell to work this time.
Yeah, I hear you.
Grateful for the opportunity to speak for you all. I can double up on my gratefulness.
Can you hear this bell at all?
Oh, there we go.
Beautiful.
And
Okay.
by the way, whoops, that is also for David. David, I think this is your first meeting as well?
Oh no, David was here
Sometime, Joe.
pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yes. Okay, so exclude the bell, but again, great to see you.
I'll take a bell anyway, that's fine. Thanks, Joe.
Especially one that works. There we go.
Yeah, Joe, I'd like a working bell when I do my introduction. Okay, Senator Irene Renner.
Hi everyone. I'm grateful for friends who helped assemble and distribute 1,400 pinwheels at 3 parades yesterday. They're not just fun, but they're part of civics education because the 4 towns in this new Senate district are listed on the ballots. Woo!
Awesome.
Grateful for the people who helped me. Thanks.
Thank you. Jackie.
Hi, I'm Jackie Kelly. I am the Emergency Preparedness Specialist at the Department of Health and also the Unit Coordinator for the local Medical Reserve Corps. And I'm grateful for some sunshine. I hope it will come during a weekend. That would be nice. It's been very rainy recently, so it's nice to see some sunshine.
Awesome, thank you. Amanda.
Hi everyone, I'm Amanda with St. Albans Health Center. I am thankful for the holiday long weekend and just the moment to be there present with my family and in the moment and just the relaxation of it.
Great, thank you, Amanda. Janine.
Hi, trying to start my video. I'm Janine Clary. I'm the Development Director for Vermont Adult Learning, and I am grateful for foster kittens. I have 3 right now. 2 of them are running around. I've been keeping my camera off because they have been tearing across my desk and my laptop, and one tried to jump across the back of my laptop screen. Thankfully didn't break it. But yeah, that's what I'm thankful for right now. They're bringing a lot of fun to my life.
Oh my goodness. Feel free to keep your camera on.
They're just, you can kind of see, they're just, so, they're good times.
Oh, I love it. You just made my day. Thank you, Janine.
You're welcome.
Beth.
Hi, I'm Beth Burgess with Vermont 211. I'm database coordinator, curator and marketing specialist. I'm grateful for an old house that is cool during this weather, at least knock wood so far.
Thank you, Beth. Kate.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I'm Kate Blumen. I am the Choices for Care Nurse in Franklin and Grand Isle County. I am grateful for, we went on vacation as a family, and the week started out with my youngest child in the ICU for 24 hours, so I didn't know what the week was going to bring. And being a nurse that works in healthcare, I'm very grateful for nurses that have totally different skills than I do that keep this nurse mom calm in not calm situations. So just grateful for the variety of nurses I encounter, and grateful to end the week with family, a family camping vacation with a little bit of rain at the perfect time, only when sleeping, and with 4 generations and a whole lot of people. So I'm grateful for life's hills and valleys, and right now it's on a peaceful moment. So thanks.
Thanks, Kate. Glad baby Will is okay. Next person, Courtney.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Courtney O'Brien, Quality Improvement Practice Facilitator through the Blueprint, employed by Northwestern Medical Center. And I'm grateful for air conditioning today. It's going to be a hot one.
Thank you, Courtney. Amy.
Good morning, everybody. Amy Brewer, the health educator at Northwestern Medical Center and the coordinator of the Franklin Brandau Tobacco Prevention Coalition and some other stuff. I am grateful. No, I'm shortening it, Joe. I'm shortening it. I am super grateful for buses to camp. I was able to get my kiddo 2 miles to a bus instead of 20 miles to camp. So busing is super helpful.
Awesome. Thank you, Amy. Joe.
Well, unmute myself. I'm Joe Halco, Director of Community Relations for Northwestern Counseling and Support Services. And let me take you back to the summer of 2019, is that I'm grateful for the fact that this group went counter to what most groups do during the summer. And that is that we never met during July and August, ever, as a group until 2019. When someone approached us and said, why don't we meet in July and August? So we went through the rationale and then landed on we're gonna meet, and it's been great that we now meet 12 months a year as a group. And I, say it's because of all of you and the fact that this is the only partnership within the state that's remained since 2009. And I just commend all of you for taking the time each month to spend and to collaborate. Lastly is this platform, because we started this in 2019, meeting during the summer, but then of course the pandemic hit, and we were able to continue doing this in 2020 through 2022. So anyway, that's what I'm thankful for. And for those of you that do not know, and I was not aware until this morning, but today, July the 5th, is Workaholics Day. So for all the workaholics in the crowd, today is your day.
And speaking of workaholics, I think it's worth noting that Joe Halco is technically on vacation right now, but we are so important. He made an effort to be here this morning.
Well, I did find that to be a bit of an ironic thing when I got that inbox this morning. But anyway, it is great to be here with all of you.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe. Megan.
Good morning, everyone. Megan Bridges, United Way of Northwest Vermont. I'm a Community Impact Manager here. I am grateful that in 10 days I will be leaving for the Cape for my annual sister's vacation, and I will be sitting on Nauset Beach, and I will not attend meetings, Joe. So I'm going to enjoy the Cape.
Love it. Thank you. Before I hop to individuals who are here in person, is there anybody remote that I have missed? Okay, so we're gonna go to the room in person, and I'm gonna start to my left. So I'll start with Faith.
Good morning. I'm Faith DuBois. I'm a community health worker with the Abenaki Nation of the Missisquoi. And I am supremely grateful today for all our community partners who came out to the wellness event we did about a week and a half ago. It was a smashing success due to their involvement, and they graciously gave up a precious summer afternoon for us. So I am supremely grateful for that.
Awesome, thank you. Stephanie.
I'm Stephanie Comstock. I'm the director at the Spectrum Drop-In Center. Today I'm grateful that my vacation is next week, at the end of next week, through the following week. It was much needed. And I get to see my best friend in South Carolina. Send positive vibes. I'll be traveling, driving with a 4-year-old.
Oh.
Doing it at night, I hope. That's sleep.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Devin Bevins. I am Integrated Primary Prevention Specialist for Vermont National Guard. And I am grateful for my dogs today. Even when I don't want to get up in the morning, they're really good about dragging me out at 5 a.m. to go for that 2-mile walk. So it was a gorgeous sunrise this morning over Mount Mansfield, and I got to see it because of them. So
My name is Jackie DiBartolomeo. I'm with The Messenger, and something I'm grateful for, probably just the ability to cover things in person. It was a long time we couldn't do that, so it's nice to be back.
Awesome, and this is your first meeting, correct?
It is.
All right, Jackie, let's go back.
Okay, we're gonna give it a shot.
I heard it.
And after everybody introduces themselves, we have the first timers do their song and dance, so no pressure, Robert. All right, Crystal.
Crystal Lamb, I'm the Executive Director of Franklin County Caring Communities. Stephanie, I can give you some tips. We've made the drive many times to South Carolina with a 6 and 8-year-old. So I am very grateful also for community partners this week. We pulled off our first in-person Teen Institute last week since the pandemic, and we had a great group of kids from Franklin, Grand Isle, and Chittenden counties, so we were really excited for that. And you know, we had guest presenters like Amy, who came and spent a morning with us chatting with the kids, and it was wonderful.
Awesome.
I brought my picture for those of you that have been here before. I think I brought it, I think I showed it last year too. This is a picture from 1954. The tall girl on the right is my older sister, who now lives down in Salem, Massachusetts. The handsome little devil on the left is me, and the cute little girl in the middle is my wife. We were not married in 1954 when this picture was taken, but on the 20th of June we celebrated our 52nd wedding anniversary. Wow. Very thankful for that.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Mr. Peterson.
Yeah, I'm Eric Peterson. I'm the Regional Director for Vermont Adult Learning in Franklin, Grand Isle counties. Before I get to my gratitude, I am also going to be going to Cape Cod in 10 days. I did not coordinate with Megan, I swear. But Megan, if you have not been to the Chatham Fish Pier, you must check it out while you're down there. If this is the Cape, it's in the elbow area, but it is the best lobster bisque and scallops you will ever have, I swear. So for my gratitude, actually it's kind of funny because this goes back a little bit to before we did gratitudes during our introductions. We used to do a collaboration that grew out of meeting here. So my gratitude is actually a collaboration that kind of grew out of here. We just got a joint grant for our Chittenden County office and our Franklin Grand Isle office in collaboration with Spectrum to better serve homeless youth who are in need of educational services as well. And I remember back a couple of years ago when Mark Redmond, the executive director of Spectrum, was up here talking about opening up a center up here in St. Albans. So I feel like this whole collaborative effort and grant was kind of a tiny little bit born out of this group here. So I'm very grateful for that. Very excited about the work.
Awesome. Good job. I'm going to call on Mr. Cunningham if you would like to share something you're grateful for, our fantastic cameraman from Northwest Access TV.
Sure. My name is Alan Cunningham, Northwest Access Television, and I am grateful for the awesome start my garden is getting off to. It was a fun 4 days of just weeding and digging around and seeing everything starting to pop, so that's what I'm grateful for.
Fantastic. And did you want to introduce yourself as a visitor? No? Okay. All right, and my name is Melinda White. I am the SAMHSA Program Manager at the Howard Center and also a recovery coach and the ED supervisor. Just took that role on and we'll have a little bit more to share come August 1st. I'm grateful that Eric let me wear his beautiful jacket because they're very stylish. I've never looked so good. I was freezing when I got here, so I'm grateful that he shared that with me so I could thaw out. Also grateful that I'm going to be going on vacation too next week, going to Florida, and can't wait to go there to fully thaw out. And then I'm grateful that this is a shameless plug, second annual Substance Use Addiction Summit on Friday, August 11th at the Champlain Valley Expo is just barely over a month away. I'm grateful for the many organizations that have already signed up and registered for your no charge booth, and grateful that it is free to all booth holders and also free to the public. The goal is to get as many people from the public to attend as possible, and no registration is needed. And that was 40 seconds or less. So thanks for not giving me the bell, Joe.
That was well done, yeah.
Okay, I think we got, is there anybody that we missed? Okay, back to you, Joe.
Hey, thanks, Melinda, and thank you, everyone. And, before we go to minute approval here, I just want to mention, and we should have probably tried to figure this out years ago, but there have been so many collaborative efforts between organizations due to this group coming together each month. The first thing that went through my mind as Eric was speaking is I remember years ago, before one of our meetings during the networking session, speaking of collaborations, we began a collaboration with the Northwest Career and Technical Center with a in their human services track, having NCSS being embedded with mental health. And they were trying to expand their human services track and were not certain which way to go. Anyway, long story short is here we are, I think it's 6 years later, and it's been a part of that track, and that all was born out of a discussion at our meeting here. So I'd love to know over the years how many different collaborations have really been formulated, either before, during, or after the meeting, because there's always a lot of conversation with those that are in the room after the meeting as well. So anyway, I just think it's one of the terrific byproducts of this group, and we certainly want to keep that going into the future. So with that, if we look at our June 7th minute, I'd like to get a motion to approve them. And by the way, last month, of course, was our meeting with the local legislators, which was terrific. So if I could get a...
So moved.
If I could get someone to move. Okay, is that Eric?
It is.
Okay, and do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second, since she put my cow picture in the minutes.
Oh yeah, I've kept that, keeping it one more month. We're celebrating
Okay,
John's
John. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye, or wave, or whatever you'd like to do. Anybody opposed? No, so the June minutes are approved. Okay, so now we're going to have the presentation for this month, and we're fortunate today to have with us, as Eric planned, David Justice and Jeff Nerney,
Recording in progress.
who are going to be talking about the Energy Works program at Vermont Adult Learning. So David and Jeff, the screen is yours.
Great, thanks Joe, thanks for having us, and thanks everybody. It's great to see some familiar faces again and meet all of the rest of you. I'm David Justice. I work as an associate director with Vermont Adult Learning, overseeing our workforce development programming, our strategic planning, and a lot of grant administrative roles as well within the organization. More behind the scenes, I'd say, than direct service. And Jeff Nerney, who's with us today, he's our program coordinator. He's the one that makes the magic happen, our first point of contact with our participants, our instructors, our training sites, often our employers, coordinating all of the ins and outs to make this a successful program. And Eric is also part of our team, many of you know already. And in addition to his role with as regional director for FGI, he is serving in a lot of leadership capacities for the organization statewide. And we're grateful to have him and his flashy jackets and sense of humor joining our team. And Janine's with us today as well. Janine's our development director, and one who's been really instrumental in helping us secure the resources for running this program over the next couple of years. I'll start with just a really brief overview of VAL, but by way of Eric, I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, are already familiar with the organization. We serve 7 counties throughout the state: Addison, Chittenden, Franklin, Grand Isle, Rutland, Windham, and Windsor. And our primary charge is providing no-cost education for adult learners in literacy, numeracy. We also do financial literacy, pathways for high school completion, GED testing, and general basic ed support, including digital literacy. We have a pretty robust English language learner program for reading, writing, speaking, listening, for English language learners, and we also provide a program where we provide ELL instruction directly on site with employers during training so that they're learning English that's specific to the industry, specific to the onboarding, everything from the water cooler talk to the technical vocabulary of whatever position they might have. Since COVID, we've been successful in offering a lot of our classes online. We now have an online learning center. It was a dream that the organization has had and talked about for many, many years, and COVID forced us into making that happen very quickly. And our team came together and developed the coordination and technology we needed to offer our services remotely as well. So we have a regular schedule of online learning classes as well. We pride ourselves on personalized learning plans, working with students to develop a pathway that is specific to them, that is of interest to their long-term career. They'll work with ed advisors. We do assessments, we measure skill gains, and all of that fun stuff that we need to do for state reporting. In terms of workforce development, historically, Vermont Adult Learning has primarily had stop-go region-specific projects that were all great pilot programs or successful programs or one-time grants. It's really been under the vision of our current executive director, Hal Cohen, that we have developed a workforce development department. We have historically offered employment services to the Reach Up program for the last, I don't know, maybe 30 years. Donna Dupree, you may know, is our employment specialist for Franklin Grand Isle area, serving the Reach Up program. And that team also serves as a resource for employment services for the organization as a whole, whether we're supporting Vail students or other workforce development programming. The Energy Works program, which we're here to talk to you about today, is a relatively new program. We started about 1.5 years ago, and that's what we're here to talk about today. The evolution of that program, what it's offering, and how you might all help us to engage more folks from Franklin and Grand Isle into that program. Collectively, Vermont Adult Learning serves around 900 to 1,000 students a year. I think I've got that right, Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, of which maybe 300 or so, 300 to 350 are typically new Americans or English language learners. We also serve, in addition to that, another 400 to 500 people throughout the state with our employment services through our Reach Up program and our Energy Works program. So related to Energy Works, this has come out of the state's commitment to the green energy sector. For instance, the governor, who has declared weatherizing 120,000 homes by 2030 as a goal for the state, would entail multiplying the current workforce by 5. It's a very ambitious goal. There's been a lot of coordination with employers, with community services, with outreach campaigns, with training programs such as ours and other programs that are offered through organizations like Resource or Vermont Works for Women, to talk about how can we actually achieve this in the next decade. There's a lot of funding right now coming in from a federal level, from a state level, from a private foundation level, to support weatherization work, to support green energy work in general. And so we're part of those conversations and serving on steering committees and working with all of the stakeholders involved in that, just to understand how we can work together and not overlap or compete with one another, but that we're all working for the greater good of some of those state goals. Another network that we're actively a part of is the Energy Action Network, which some of you may be a part of or know of. It's a rather diverse network of 200 or so businesses, nonprofits, and other public agencies that are also serving to meet Vermont's climate and energy commitments. They provide a lot of research, they run focal groups, they gather information to help inform testimony that is delivered to the legislature. They help us stay on point with the types of programs we're offering to ensure that they're relevant, both to employers as well as of interest to potential job seekers and participants looking to get into the field. The point of all that, I guess, is this is a really a growing industry in the state of Vermont. I think that will only create more and more opportunity as time goes on. And it comes with a career path that has a decent starting wage. $20+ an hour is often the starting wage, with room for quick advancement. and we're looking to get more people involved in the field to help meet some of those demands. So we started the Energy Works program back in, I think it was September, October of 2021. And we were at that point just running a pilot program, doing a weatherization training, a 1 to 2 week weatherization training in Rutland County. And we gave that about a year of trial and error, putting it out there to the community, getting information from employers and feedback from participants, and evolving the curriculum of that program. In November of last year, we introduced a heat pump training in Rutland County as well, and similarly ran it as a pilot to try it out to see how it went. We've since, in the last 6 months, expanded to offer both heat pump and weatherization trainings throughout the state. In Upper Valley, in Westminster, we did run one in Colchester. In Chittenden County, we're going to be doing one potentially in St. Johnsbury rather soon. And we're looking to expand throughout the state. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute, but part of our initiative in this past 6 months has been creating this training opportunity to be mobile, to be provided anywhere throughout the state, not just where we have learning centers. We have a great relationship with the Office of Economic Opportunity Weatherization Assistance Program, tied to the community action agencies. Most closely affiliated with FGI is CVOEO. They often provide a site for housing our trainings, both for weatherization and heat pump trainings, and serve as our primary employer and feeding a lot of the curriculum that we have developed. To date, we have run 14 trainings and had over 90 participants attend those trainings with a 95% training completion rate. So we've seen great success with folks showing up and completing the training. Of those that have attended the trainings, we've earned a collective 80 or so credentials, industry recognized credentials, and I'll talk about in a minute what some of those credentials are. So the basic overview for our Energy Works training is about a 2 to 3 week long program, and a lot of that timing depends on the scheduling of things. We're bringing together a lot of instructors and arranging for job shadows and other opportunities with employers. And the way that schedules align, we shoot to do that within a consolidated period of less than 3 weeks. Often it happens within 2 weeks. It's a mix, about 50-50 of classroom time and workshop time. There's a lot of hands-on experience, a lot of time working with tools, with equipment, getting familiar with the trade, not just textbook learning or PowerPoints. We spent a lot of time talking with employers about what would be most valuable in terms of the skills and knowledge that you would want an entry-level applicant to have coming into the door. And a lot of them will say, you know, we can teach them their job, but it would be helpful if they had this, this, and this. And so that's what we've taken into account to make our training as concise as possible. It's a shorter training than most for that reason. It's kind of been an accordion over the last year and a half in terms of the duration, but we've landed on a model that we have found that has worked and been blessed by the input from employers. So a training will often involve roughly 4 days of technical training. In weatherization, when we run that training, we'll cover topics such as the history of the trade, why it's important. We'll cover basic construction and weatherization vocabulary, hand tool and power tool use, any of the tools that are associated with weatherization work. We cover basic moisture science and air movement science, ventilation systems, the installation of vents and ducts, air sealing, various types of insulation and the proper installation processes to do that. We have a cellulose machine setup and the use of that equipment. We actually do a hose setup and talk about the filling of insulation techniques for running those hoses. Truck organization, how to load a truck from the workshop, how to stay organized on the truck, and how to get from the truck to the residence or the commercial property that you are running the weatherization work. So some hands-on experience of what that looks like in the day-to-day. We also cover professionalism, customer services. Oftentimes in weatherization work, you're in and out of people's homes and can be very personal work as well. For the heat pump training, we cover the differences between a heat pump, an air conditioner, and a cold climate heat pump. We cover electrical and fire and tool safety, refrigerant safety and the proper handling of that. We go through PPE, how and why that's important, the refrigerant cycle and cooling and heating modes. We also review all tools and equipment like copper tubing, vacuum pump operation, AC gauge reading, nitrogen purging procedure, electrical wire stripping and connection. And we have a full hands-on demo of both the indoor unit, the evaporator, and the outdoor unit, the condenser for a heat pump installation. They cover things like locating studs and drilling the properly sized holes to run refrigerant lines, communication wires, drain lines. We do pressure testing of the refrigerant lines and so forth. As part of that training, we also do the EPA 608 industry recognized credential to cover the safety and the proper handling of all of those materials. So those are the two technical trainings. Each of those are about 4 days for weatherization or 4 days for the heat pump. In addition to that, we offer a 2-day OSHA 10 training. We offer a full day of CPR, first aid, AED training, and we provide, when possible, at least 2 days of job shadowing. This is something that we've had to handle rather delicately, depending on our employers that we're connected with in any type of district. We want to be careful of saturation. A lot of people are doing the work and they're booked for 2 years out planning this work. And so for them to take on a participant as a job shadow, as a commitment from their staff, might slow their work down a bit, but they see the investment in the potential for another good hire. We're pumping out trainings faster than employers are hiring at a different rate. So that's something that we need to be mindful of in terms of respecting their time, but scheduling them as much as possible when we can. Our trainings also include a gender equity training we do in collaboration with Vermont Works for Women that is available for both our participants as well as employers. At the end of each training, we conclude with an employer panel that will bring employers that are looking for hires to talk about their work culture, some of the benefits of working there, what their current needs are, what the possibility is or the career path might be with working within their organization. It's just kind of a soft interview for our participants to showcase what they learned throughout the training. And we've been quite successful in having a couple of direct hires come right out of those panels. We do it virtually often, where we have breakout rooms and an employer in each breakout room, and the participants rotate through the rooms talking about their experience and having this soft interview. So that's been a great experience. In addition to that, we offer some work readiness support. What are employer expectations? We cover a number of different what if scenarios, and what is your plan B if this were to happen? This is something employers often tell us. We can teach them the job, but the communication skills, the time management, the conflict resolution that might be necessary on the job is something that's been more challenging. And so we cover some of those topics as part of a work readiness training as well. In terms of recruitment and outreach to participants, we have recently contracted with a marketing agency that's helping us develop some better materials, both print and video. We're hoping to run some TV spots and get some social media video out there to further explain the program in a more exciting way than we've been able to do to date. And we'll certainly share those materials with you when they're complete. But we do offer some incentives to participants that are able to join. There's a $500 stipend for those that complete the training. And then those that accept employment and work for 60 days or more would be eligible for a second $500 stipend, kind of like a bonus for joining the workforce. We offer free transportation to and from our trainings throughout the duration of the training. However, it's noted that most employers do require an employee to have their own transportation, a driver's license and their own transportation, as they're often moving from job to job. So while we provide transportation for the training, that could be a continued barrier for employment, something that we'll start those conversations with participants in advance. We provide lunch each day of the training, snacks, any PPE that might be necessary during the training. We do offer a $225 a week childcare credit, but it has to be with a licensed facility. So we do understand that there's very limited availability for that, but if it is found and coordinated, we would help absorb some of the financial costs of that so that they could attend the training. All expenses for the training, the books, the tests for any of the credentials are covered by Vermont Adult Learning as well. We also work very closely with a number of other service providers to, if there's a participant referred from ReachUp or working with the Department of Labor, WIOA counselor, or through Hireability, there's a collaboration that happens between our staff and their staff and meeting the needs to provide the best accommodations possible for those participants. So that's our training in an overview, and I'll pass it to Jeff to talk a little bit more about what makes a good referral and some of the successful participants we've had come through this program.
Thank you, David. I'd just like to highlight the job readiness portion when we have the contractors and the employer visits. We did 2 trainings recently up in the White River, the Upper Valley, heat pump installation trainings, one in April, one just wrapped up last week. And in the one that we did in April, we had 3 local employers visit. One person was offered a job and he started at $3 more an hour than he had been making. And what we're looking for in terms of participants are unemployed or underemployed, and he was underemployed at that time. So that was a big win for that person. And he's coming up on his 60 days of employment, so he'll get that additional $500 soon. We did a training wrapped up last week, and we actually had 4 employees, and one of them actually contacted me because he had heard about the program from a salesperson. And so we did the job readiness training, I believe it was on Wednesday. David, correct me if I'm wrong. And we had a young person who had just graduated from the tech center just weeks ago and was looking for a job in this field and possibly some schooling at Vermont Technical as well. Within an hour, the HR person for this, it was Alliance Mechanical, I believe, called and wanted an interview with this person. That will be happening this Thursday. So that was really exciting news as well. And just to touch on success stories with weatherization, we started this program, as David said, here in Rutland. And our OEO partner here in Rutland is Brock Community Action. We've placed 3 people at Brock, and those people are now crew leaders or forepersons. So that's a success story as well. And that goes back over a year. So in terms of longevity on the job, that's a win for them as well. Because as you all probably know, in this sector, there's a lot of turnover, and that's a problem that we're trying to solve for employers, solving that turnover problem. So with that being said, I like to provide what I call a realistic job preview about what the work is like. And since we have a weatherization training coming up at CVOEO, our 3rd with them in September, I'll focus on that. So with weatherization, the work can be very challenging and very hard. So what's the temperatures are going to get up into the 90s today? Is that true? Is that what I'm hearing? Yes, I believe so.
Yep.
So the crews will be out there today, and they may be outside. They may be on ladders, to be on scaffolding, to do some work outside of houses. Maybe inside, and they may be in attics. So it actually be very, very warm, very hot in this kind of temperature. They may be in crawl spaces, basements, etc. So it's challenging work. They will need to wear protective personal equipment. So it is hot, dusty work. So we like to lay that out for folks right off the bat. The type of people that we're looking for is someone who has a commitment to the environment, wants to fight fossil fuels and greenhouse gases. It's helpful if people have experience with power tools, but that's not necessary because we provide that opportunity for folks. It is hard, challenging work. It is also very rewarding work. And one of our partners, CVOEO, the weatherization director up there, Dwight DeCoster, always talks about the grandmother hugs that his crew gets from the grandmothers after someone has weatherized their home. Because not only will weatherization help a home stay warm in the winter, it will help a home stay cool in the summer as well, so they have that added benefit. And many of the folks that we serve, the weatherization partners serve, are folks who are struggling financially and may have some health issues as well. So improving the quality of their lives is really important and very rewarding for the employees. So in a nutshell, that is what the work is like: hard, demanding. If you're working for an organization like CVOEO, they tend to work 4 10-hour days. So those are long days, long, challenging days, but you get 3 days off, and that's great. If you do get hired by an OEO, the benefits are great as well. We also do partner with some of the local contractors up in that area as well. Building Energy has been willing to participate as well with us in our employee panels. So that's what we're shooting for September, starting on September 25th. So we will be recruiting for that training. I am always willing to meet with participants, individually or with a counselor if they're working with hireability or the Department of Labor or any other community partner. I will meet with that person individually and or their support person to discuss any supports that that person might need, whether it's transportation or any support they might need in terms of handling the material that they will need to review and preview. What else can I say about that? David, anything come to you off the top of my head that I may have missed on that?
Great summary, Jeff. Thanks.
Okay.
As Jeff mentioned, the commitment to the mission of the work is really essential. It is weatherization work specifically. Everyone talks about how hard it is. It's so hot in the summer, it's so cold in the winter, but it is very well supported. The employers that we work with provide a very strong team-like environment. It is rewarding. But if it's somebody just looking for a job and a paycheck, they're not likely going to last unless they have a greater commitment to the purpose of the work. So that's a big piece of, we see our training really as an extension for employers that are doing their own recruitment. There is often a high turnover for entry-level employees to these fields, and we hope to reduce that. So if we run a training with 8 people, and in that training, 6 of them say, I don't want to do this. I've learned that from my exposure to this training. That's just as valuable as someone, going on to find employment, because we feel we've saved an employer from a hire that wasn't going to work out, and the expense and the time commitment to that. So where we could use help as we expand this program, we've run a couple of programs through Dwight's office at CVOEO. We can do more closer to home in St. Albans and around in other parts of Franklin and Grand Isle. Your help with introducing us to employers in weatherization and heat pump, so we can talk to them about the program and a little bit more deeply about the curriculum, and also solicit their input, because what employers in your area are looking for might be a little bit different than Rutland or Windham or other counties throughout the state. And we would want to understand what their needs are in terms of a value of the service that we're offering. We also are looking for employers to participate in these panels that we offer at the end of the training, to provide job shadow opportunities, as I mentioned. Secondly, we're looking for other sites. Weatherization can be a little bit tricky in the sense that we build props. We have an attic prop with ducts and vents within it to talk about how to insulate it, how to seal those areas. We have a wall prop that we run a cellulose demo from a truck into a wall prop. So, having a garage space and having the props is a necessary piece of our trainings. When we're doing them out of the Weatherization Assistance Program workshops, we have all that there. If we're moving off site, we're working with other organizations or employers to build a prop and store it on our behalf, so that we can run trainings out of their workshop, and they can use those props for training their own staff as needed as well. It's been a nice mutual benefit in which we invest in paying for the labor and materials and for the creation of those props. But if you're aware of workshop type spaces or organizations locally that might have such a space and be willing to work with us on the creation and storage of those types of props, that would help us expand and provide the trainings in different parts of the state. And lastly, just helping us get the word out about this training would be helpful. Sharing it with your network, sharing the flyers that we circulate, directing referral participants to Jeff. If any of you would like us to come talk to your staff or anyone that is a direct service provider that might have someone in mind that would be a good fit for this, we're happy to come talk to your staff directly. Just helping us identify people that would be a great fit for this program and help meet that greater demand for increasing the workforce throughout the state. Eric, anything to add?
Actually, I just wanted to kind of go back to something you said about we're having an upcoming training in St. Johnsbury, and this is actually not in the Vermont Adult Learning Service area. There's 4 different adult education and literacy providers in the state. So this is up where Northeast Kingdom Learning Services operates out of, but we've been working really hard over the last several years to really improve that collaborative relationship among the other adult ed and literacy providers, where I think historically we kind of more operated in our own silos, but we've really been exploring ways to work together and share resources and team up on things. So this is an example of, they might not have the capacity to design and implement a program like this in their region, but since we have it, they're like, yeah, great, bring this program in and work with folks in our area. So that's something that I think has been really exciting for the entire system across the state.
Thanks, Eric.
Matthew, I see you have your hand up.
Yeah, I have a big question to ask you, and it is statewide, and it goes to the Vermont Learning Center. My question is, and I'm going to use myself as an example, because you got to learn the person to be able to help the person. I learn things differently. I have autism. I learned the curriculum that we have in the state, and this is what I'm seeing across the state, not just one side to another, that the curriculum and education materials are not working for individuals. I mean, that has specific or different way of learning that curriculum or tool. Because everything's, the way I look at it, everything's college educated. Vermont prouds itself on that to a point that it's missing a lot of people that are marginalized across this state. There's a problem in that because the workforce environment is changing, but also but in reality, if we're keeping with the college education and pride ourselves on, I assume you are a college educated individual, I assume that you're going to pass your college credential, I assume that you're going to have a career in Vermont, then we're leaving a lot of people out there that, you know, we're starting to get away from actually the individual access needs of the person. And that's something that I need to address right now, because that's what I'm seeing within the communities that are marginalized across the state. And that's equity with an E that needs to be addressed big time to be able to fulfill the jobs that we're looking for the future generations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matthew. Yeah, and I agree. The program that we run with Vermont Adult Learning, oftentimes we'll have participants that are co-enrolled, working to pursue basic education services, support with their learning to receive a high school diploma. We are part of an association that provides these services throughout the state. So while Vermont Adult Learning serves the 7 counties I mentioned earlier, our partnerships with the Northeast Kingdom Learning Center, the Central Valley Adult Basic Ed, and the Tutorial Center down in Bennington, we offer those services through them as well. We also have a partnership with Hireability and work very closely with them and their support staff to think about what types of accommodations might be needed, to think about how we can improve our curriculum, our instruction style. We working with English language learners, one of the programs that we've offered in the past and we're currently working on right now for the Energy Works program is a bridge class for English language learners so that they could learn over the course of a couple of months the vocabulary and the concepts of the field as a preface to joining the Energy Works training program and then continuing that support on site with employers. So a lot of, Vermont Adult Learning is a long history of strong community partnerships. We are not experts with working with every population and every demographic, but we have partnerships with other community services that work with specific populations and thrive on that collaboration to ensure that we can provide accommodations the best that we can for all of those demographics. Oftentimes that requires some preliminary investment in time and support and education leading into the training programs that are a gateway to employment. Beth, I see you have a hand up.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you're planning on expanding the workforce development program to other counties, or is the case that other counties already have training programs like that?
We are expanding wherever we're seeing the need right now. We're fortunate to have a number of different funding sources, federal, state, and private, to sustain the expansion of this program over the next several years. So we'll be growing our staffing as well. We're trying to expand responsibly. We also know that other organizations like Resource and Vermont Works for Women offer similar types of training. So we're in communication with them about geographical areas and timing, that we're not both running a training at the same place at the same time. We're also cross-referring and even sometimes tacking on trainings to each other's offerings. For instance, Vermont Works for Women may run a Trailblazers program and we would add a heat pump training at the end of it. Or Resource might run a Construction 101 training and we might offer the heat pump training on the other side of that. Collectively, us and there's other options in town, but these three organizations in particular right now are offering these types of entry-level, short-term 3-week to 6 to 8 week types of trainings in these fields. And we're trying to cover as much of the state as we can. We'll go where there's a demand. So if we know that in your area there is an interest, that there are participants involved, we know that we have some employers that we've built relationships with, we want to make sure that we're leading participants and graduates from our programs to responsible and forward-thinking employers as well. So having an opportunity for us to develop some relationships with those employers, understand their needs, understand their work ethic, their mission, and the type of work culture that they provide, and to ensure that it's a positive referral source for our participants. We can put all those things together relatively quickly over the course of a few months. We might coordinate 4 or 5 different instructors and a space. That's the work that we do on the back end, which usually takes 2 to 3 months in advance. But there's probably a couple of months of relationship developing that needs to happen before that. We have some relationships in the area now, but that's a place where we could really benefit from all of your help. If you know anyone that is interested in this type of work, or that there would be a demand, please introduce them to us. We're very much into meeting as many people as we can right now that are interested in the work or interested in hiring people and expanding their workforce.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Amy?
I put my question in the chat and then attempted to raise my hand and clapped instead. So things are going well. My question is, I'm kind of working on transportation in the area. And I'm just trying to figure out, everyone talks about transportation as a barrier. I know it's a barrier, but drilling down to better understand what part of transportation is the barrier is kind of where I am. And so I'm wondering whether you all have a sense of what keeps people from being able to get to where they need or want to go. Your clients in particular, is it like no car, no working car, no reliable car, limited access to a household car, no license? They would like to take the bus, but it's not, it doesn't go where they want, that kind of stuff. And I didn't know if you had a sense of any of those elements.
Amy, it's been about all of those that you mentioned from my experience. So
and there's no pattern.
Yeah, we had a person recently, the vehicle wasn't working. We've had people trying to get their vehicle repaired in time for the training. We've helped out with transportation then. We've had people that didn't have transportation. We've provided cabs for them. It's been the whole spectrum of sometimes it's the license situation. So in that situation, we'll work with folks and we'll try to figure out what is your plan to get a license. And if it's sometime in the future, then that may be a good match. If it's not sometime in the future, then that may be a barrier for them to get employment. So, but yeah, it's the nature of who we're serving and supporting it. So all of those barriers are true.
I think it's Jeff. I would agree. We've seen it all, and you know, an example. I'll speak to the Reach Up program because I'm the most familiar with that. But if we have a Reach Up participant referred to one of our programs, and transportation is a challenge for them, there are incentives built in with the Reach Up program. Maybe financial incentives if they commit to a training program or a line of employment where a car is necessary and they don't have a license or the car is broken down, that based on that commitment, their case managers can authorize incentive payments to alleviate those barriers. I think training programs like this, where participants learn about the opportunity, again, if they are interested in the mission of the work, because if they're just seeing it as a quick out, it's probably not going to last more than a couple of months. But if they are interested in the work and the mission and combating climate change in this way, and they feel connected to that, and they learn that by just going through a 2-week training program, I've got a real strong shot of starting a job at $20 plus an hour with the potential to increase that pretty quickly over the course of 1 year of employment. It's that incentive to take care or to focus or prioritize what their transportation challenges might be and access some of the resources with supporting agencies that they might be connected with. So having those conversations up front with participants, you know, as soon as they come to us is something we do talk about, because transportation is oftentimes, with most employers we've talked to, a requirement to be able to take on the job. I hope that answers your question.
Well, it does. You know, in a dream world, as you're trying to figure out what potential transportation solutions there might be, there would be a pattern in which you could like start to pick off priorities, like focus on helping people repair their cars so that, you know, but if there's the suspicion I have, and you just kind of, both of you just said, yeah, that's kind of true. It's across the board, all of those elements. So you answered my question, but it just
not the solution so much.
Well, but no, what if there was an easy solution, right? We all
Right.
have done it before, so that's okay. Thank you.
I will say also that, you know, we're not looking solely for people that are ready to start working tomorrow. You know, this is an industry that is growing. There is just as much of an interest in us planting seeds for youth, people in middle school and early high school to start thinking about this as a career path. We're just as interested in people going through this training that, I mean, we just ran a heat pump training, and we have people that are going back to school in the fall, but they took it because they were interested in it, and maybe they'll do it someday. Fantastic. We hope 2 years or 3 years or 4 years from now, you will, that this training will have influenced you in a direction that says, this is something I want to pursue down the road. There's no foresight of this industry slowing down. So if transportation is a challenge that somebody has, and we would still welcome them to be a part of the training. We can alleviate that barrier during the training, and maybe what they learn from that training sparks an interest in the field that they are motivated to work to find a solution to their transportation barrier and become employable 6 months or a year later down the road. They'll finally go back to take care of those fines and do what they need to do to get their driver's license back. They'll start making those changes, and we'll have those conversations and think about community supports, working within our own network of community partners to help support them on that way as well.
David, sure. I just want to add one thing. You're talking about kind of planting seeds, and this is a career opportunity, and I think you can't overstate the extent to which there are career ladder opportunities within this field. If you look at the program managers at CVOEO, they all started years ago as general workers doing the hands-on weatherization work in people's homes. And even the person, I believe, was the program director for Vermont Office of Economic Opportunities, started out as doing that frontline installation work and is now overseeing the program for the entire state. So there are, and then Jeff, I think, was just saying that some of the people who we trained a year and a half ago are now crew leaders down in Brock. So there's a lot of opportunities to move up and within this field.
Thanks, Eric. Joe?
Yeah, David, while you were talking, let me lower my hand here. While you were talking, one of the things I was thinking about earlier, you sort of answered it, but you're right. You've got a couple of things. You've got people that are ready to work now, and they're at that age. But then you've also got this whole quasi-generation from middle school through high school that, do you have or have you currently employed tactics to try to reach those youth at those younger ages, just to kind of get them familiar with the opportunity, so that hopefully by the time, you know, they become the age you're looking for, they're ready?
Yeah, thanks for asking that, Joe. We have met with high schools, with tech centers. We've given some presentations. We've talked to students in those areas, but in a larger statewide scale, you know, two of the collaborations I mentioned earlier, the Energy Action Network and the Office of Economic Opportunity, which recently was awarded a grant to establish a weatherization training center for the state of Vermont, has both of those circles, which overlap in a lot of the same people, are thinking about statewide outreach and promotion of the field in these ways that would get into youth, that would connect with youth at a much younger stage for that future vision. So we're waiting to see where those conversations land, because I think a coordinated state-led opportunity would be really impactful. Independent of that, we have contracted with a marketing agency. It's the first time Vermont Adult Learning in 40 plus years has ever done that, that we've made a commitment to a larger investment in marketing and targeted recruitment and strategy. And that is one of the demographics that we intend to work with once we have some of our marketing collateral materials put together. But yes, I think, you know, a lot of that has to happen from the top down and the bottom up, and meet somewhere in the middle in terms of getting those messages out to people. And those conversations are happening on a statewide level, slowly, but they're in motion. Matthew?
Yes, thank you, and thank you, Joe, for bringing that up. That demographic is a big area. I have a question as, you know, why we're still building this, you know, collective. I like the word collaboration. It's just, you know, we should be doing this from like day one, because, you know, that's more, not just benefits everybody and their individual needs, but also makes the workforce, you know, more efficient. It works more efficient if we work together. But my question is, you know, with the curriculum and, you know, the materials that you're going to present and the marketing, is there a way we could, you know, with the group that you're trying to target, you know, is there a way to make that easier for them to understand that curriculum and tools that you're trying to support? Because, you know, you got one side here that are college education, and you got another side of Vermont demographic, our senior citizens, and yeah, we got to add that too as well, because we want to make sure that it's unilaterally or have that universal language where it works for both sides, not just the receiving side or the sending side, because you want that person to be involved on day one. You don't want to overflow their minds with information that's so complex that I'm going to go somewhere else because it doesn't work for me, or it's just too much, you know, brain thinking involvement here. Is there a way to, you know, make that into a one-pager summary where I'm working with the state to do so, to make sure that nothing gets missed, but also gets my point across, but also making sure that individual becomes more involved? Thank you.
Thanks, Matthew. Yeah, you know, I mean, we talk about that quite a bit internally with Vermont Adult Learning, because we're often looking to promote our services and messages to folks that live in poverty to folks that may only have a 7th, 8th, or 9th grade level of education, and thinking about the literature that we put out there. Is it understandable? One of the advantages of hiring a marketing agency is we get to put together our minds in terms of the different populations we serve with their level of expertise for how to best reach those target populations. And that's what we're looking at right now, diversifying our marketing materials. So with visuals, with video, with audio spots, with imagery, we're hiring professional photographers and videographers to create more understandable, relatable, and exciting messages for various populations. I don't know that there's any one true cheat sheet to hit all demographics, and part of it is really the targeted intention of the creation of those materials, the personalization of those materials, which is a big investment of thought and time, and we're working on that currently.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other questions for David or Jeff or Eric? Okay. Well, David and Jeff, and I'll include Eric. Eric, you did speak. Want to really thank all of you for the presentation this morning. It's a really terrific program. I mean, I think all of us do understand the fact that the work is not easy. However, you made one statement, David, that I think really sums up, well, to me, whether you're talking to employers, to the individual that you're trying to recruit, or to the household that you're impacting, and that's that this work improves quality of life. And that when you talk about the mission driven and everything, and that maybe everybody wouldn't buy in, but those who do, I think, at the end of the day, they can really and truly say that they're helping to improve the quality of Vermonters' lives. And they're doing it in a way that is very necessary from a standpoint of living day in, day out in the location where they live. So, once again, wishing you all the best. I know the program is still relatively new at 1.5 years, but as you said, David, there's so much opportunity in the future. I mean, today and in the future, this isn't going to go away. So I think people that do get immersed in this, can have long careers that could be very enjoyable. Albeit we do understand it's difficult work, but still very necessary. So again, thanks to all of you for a really good presentation this month, and for giving us a better insight into all the various programming, the trainings, that sort of thing. So I would just say that I know and by the way, David had sent a bunch of materials, everyone, that Melinda will include with the weekly updates. And there will be some future, as David said, materials that'll be forwarded as well. So again, want to wish you all the best with this program. It's, from where I sit, and I think from where many of us sit, it's very exciting work.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, everybody.
I just want to add to the materials that Melinda will send out on Friday. There's 4 different flyers. One is a flyer that we traditionally share with employers, just to explain to them what the program is. As I mentioned, there's some needs that we have in terms of getting to know employers to help inform our curriculum, to provide job shadows and serve on panels and things like that. There's a flyer that's more of a general overview that we share with students as a first-time interest and exposure. We have a one-pager that's just sort of a catch-all of everything flyer. And then we have a flyer that's very specific to the upcoming training that's happening in September in Colchester in the area, just so you know why there's so many flyers. They're designated for those purposes. If we have more updated materials that come into play through the agency we'll make sure to forward those on to you as well. And if anyone has any questions or would like to invite Jeff and I to speak to any of your groups or your teams, we'd be happy to do that. Please reach out to us directly or through Joe or Eric anytime. Thanks again for the opportunity, everybody. Really appreciate it.
Okay, thanks again, David and Jeff. And Eric.
Thank you.
Can't forget Eric, So any initiatives or upcoming events that anyone wants to share with the group at this point? I know that We utilize the weekly updates for that as well. But if anybody has anything they'd like to mention right now, that would be great.
Yeah,
And
Saturday.
if not,
Yep, Saturday 4 to 6, we have a chicken barbecue fundraiser for the Sheldon Food Shelf at the food shelf there in Sheldon Creek. Either eat in or take out if you want to just stop by. $7.50 for adults and $5 for children. So it's a pretty inexpensive, really good meal to benefit the food shelf. 4 to 6 on Saturday night.
sounds good, John. Beth?
Yeah, this isn't an initiative or an event, but in case you hadn't heard from the news, Vermont 211 has had to change its hours from 24/7 to 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily. This is a change in our contract with AHS. Just wanted to make sure everyone knows that.
Beth, is this going to be a permanent change or temporary? Do you know? The reason I ask is I realize we're out of like emergency hotel stays at this point in time, but as we get to winter time next
Right.
year, I just worry that could pose a problem for people who really late at night are unhoused.
Yeah, well, we're concerned about that too. This contract is kind of a short-term contract. It'll be through November. We're hoping that we can be back to 24/7 at some point in the future. But if there's ever like an emergency, you know, like COVID or some kind of statewide concern, we would be back to 24/7 in that event. But yeah, we're hoping to be back to 24/7 eventually.
Thank you. Amy, I saw your hand up. Well, actually, I didn't see your hand up, but I saw your comment in the chat and didn't know if you wanted to give a little detail on that.
Sure. It's cigarette butt litter cleanup. It used to be month, but now it seems to be season. We do multiple events throughout our region. We have several coming up before our next meeting, including competing with our next meeting. So July 19th, we'll be at Swanton Rec, cleaning up from there outward in the community. On the 20th, July 20th, we'll be in Enosburg and Richford. On the 25th, we'll be in Alberg. And on the 2nd, we'll be in downtown St. Albans. I know the flyer goes out with the weekly updates, but I just encourage you to come for a few minutes or the whole time. It is kind of fun. It is a nice way to see your community and interact with people. It is disgusting, but it is also fun. So I know several of you have joined me, and I just hope that some of you can take just a few minutes or share it with folks that you work with or are near.
I've always said to Amy, there's no ifs, ands, or buts, that is a terrific program.
Oh man, Joe.
And it is
I'm there with you right now.
and it is really eye-opening that you see how many of these butts are littering our communities. It's astounding.
You won't be able to stop seeing them once you do about litter cleanup. You'll see them everywhere.
There's no going back. Sorry, it does ruin it forever, but it is helpful, and the communities appreciate it. And I do follow up with municipalities and businesses and let them know how many are cleaned up, just to help raise awareness so that we can all do our part.
Amy, where do all those go after you collect them?
I do collect them. We do count them. We do separate them. So I ask people just to pick up butts and put those in a Ziploc bag. And I mail them to TerraCycle, and they recycle them. I can't imagine. So I put them, I don't like to use plastic, but I do put them in a Ziploc bag because that contains the smell better.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm so thankful that I seal them all up and then send them on their way. And I can't imagine what it smells like when they open up that box at TerraCycle, but.
Well, the good news is that they can recycle it.
That is the smallest amount of good news out of this entire process of cigarettes sold, part of plastic, consumed, harmed, and sent into the environment. So I am glad that they can do something at least minimally productive with them.
I hope you screenshotted Amy making that yuck face.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
I
mean
wish I would
potential.
have done a freeze frame. It wasn't quick enough. I think since I'm already chatting now, I'll just do one more reminder. So for the Substance Use Addiction Summit, it is on Friday, August 11th at the Champlain Valley Expo. We have secured some phenomenal speakers. We have got Dr. Levine, Monica Hutt coming to speak, as well as Maureen Cavanaugh, the author of the book, If You Love Me, A Mother's Journey Through Her Daughter's Opioid Addiction. We've got Project Vision from Rutland, so Commander Prouty, his team, Tracy, her team. We're gonna have VTAR. I announce that sometimes when I do an introduction. I'm on the VTAR board, which is the Vermont Alliance for Recovery Residences. We're gonna have our one of our board members, Peter Mallory, who was actually the chair for the longest time and is retired from everything except VTAR because I'm a pain in the butt and I won't let him retire. He's gonna share a little bit about VTAR and its creation from the national model, NAR. And then we'll have our executive director, Jeff Moreau, which a lot of people here do know Jeff because he used to attend this meeting quite often. He'll be sharing as well. He's our executive director. So there's going to be breakout rooms. Dr. White is going to be sharing about the science of addiction in the brain, and anybody who knows her knows that she is extremely not boring, so she will be wonderful to listen to. So just want to encourage people, if you haven't registered your organization for a booth, they're no charge. Attendance itself, I've already gotten 3 text messages this morning from people asking how to register to attend. You don't have to register to attend. If people just want to show up, it's open to the public, so people can just show up. So hoping that all of the organizations that are on our listserv are able to register a booth sooner than later.
I'm just gonna put in our monthly plug. If you have an hour or 2 a week that you can dedicate to a young person in the community, we do have a need for mentors, and we can give more information if you email us at info@fccp.org, or you can check out our website, www.fccp.org.
Can I add one too? We're hosting a free Learn to Skateboard clinic for kids ages 11 to 19. It's through the Chill Foundation, and they work with Burton. Burton provides all the gear that the kids need. They have snacks. They have awesome college student mentors for the kids. It's starting next week. I believe it's Tuesday afternoon for 2 hours, and then it'll be the following 2 weeks, same day for the same 2 hours. If anyone has a child who would like to register, it can be done through the Swan Rec, and more information can be found, I believe, on their Facebook page as well, or contact us.
Okay, anyone else?
All right, well, with that, we will conclude this month's meeting. I want to thank everyone for taking time out of your schedules to be here this month. We will reconvene on Wednesday, August the 2nd. And in the meantime, have a great month of July. Thanks everybody for all the work you do for the community. And we will see you next month. So thanks again, everybody, and have a great week and a great month, and see you on August 2nd. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.